Hey everybody, I'm just out for a little ride around because it is a very nice day. It's definitely, you can tell it's coming up to winter time, or it is winter time, but it's not cold, so it's nice. Anyway, the subject of today is a pretty tricky one, to be honest. And that subject is happiness and staying happy through difficult times. As some of you may know, because I have talked about it a few times in videos, I have suffered with depression in my life, and during the time that it was really bad, well, one of the times it was really bad was around the time, I'm trying to think, there was a particular video I knew it was around that time, around the carrot fever video time. Things were getting pretty bad. I mean, I was off work for a while, I got medicated, and it wasn't a good situation. And the pills, I mean, I tried them, they just made me feel like a freaking drone, you know, just completely out of it. Just neutral. It didn't improve anything for me, and I got rid of them. And the way that I solved it was basically I changed my way of thinking. Now, I filmed videos talking about it at the time many times, and they got deleted. I just decided that I didn't want to talk about it. Fucking hell! The fucking police just scared the shit out of me. I'm doing 40. Oh, Jesus. And if people go, if you had mirrors, you would have seen them. Now, let me just point this one out. If I did have mirrors fitted to this bike, I still wouldn't see them because they're freaking useless for me. I'm way too wide. Anyway. Yeah, I didn't make the videos at the time because it was just, it didn't seem like the right thing to do for me. It wasn't going to bring me any happiness, I didn't think. Although they say that a problem shared is a problem halved, and if I'd shared it with thousands of people, maybe it would have been a percentage. But of course it wouldn't be that way. But talking about difficult times and when you're not very happy with friends who are understanding, picking the right friend is very important, but don't like completely inundate them with you, I don't want to say whinging, but you know, talking about it to the point that they just feel like they don't know what they're going to do, because you might not be showing any improvement into them, and it's like, I'm trying, man, but this is so difficult. But I suppose this is the time when you find your true friends and stuff through life. But what I've decided is, instead of talking about depression and the negativity side of it, which, you know, it doesn't really help anyone, I'm going to talk about the positive side of it and how I kept myself happier. There's a few key things you can do that will make you think happier about your situation. One of the most important ones, and you will have noticed that in the bigger bike video, this is basically what it boils down to. It is deciding if something that's making you unhappy is because something you haven't got. Quite often that's what makes people sad, whether that be a material possession or a person, but I'll get onto that one in a minute. But as far as like material possessions are concerned, you have to just work out if it truly is a want or a need. Now, if you want something and you can't have it for X, Y, and Z, well then it's just a want and you can do without it. And that is very, very important to remember that. If it's a need and you can't get it, well then it is a bit of an issue and you're going to have to do some work to solve that problem. And that's another one, solving problems. You have to actively try and make things happen. Things don't just happen and improve on their own. Now, you can try and try and try, and everything in the world can be thrown against you. And it can get tough at times. You know, you're doing everything in your power, working really hard to get to the place you want to be, or to get to the things that you need to do or want to do. Because, you know, wants do make you happy to a point, as long as it's not a want after want after want just to replace the last one. And you just got to stay positive through that process, and eventually it should come good if you have a bit of luck and you try. So yeah, basically wants and needs, that is an easy one. And it's like people say to me, how have you survived on a 125 this long? Yeah, sure, as I've said before, I'd love to get a bigger bike, but I don't need to. So I don't beat myself up over a want that I can't have at the moment because it's not physically possible for me to do it. Why would I beat myself up over it? Just enjoy what you have. Enjoy the journey, not the destination. You know, lots of people say that. Because let's face it, in life, the destination is death. So just enjoy the bit coming up to it. It's a great way to talk about things in a video about happiness, but acceptance that, I mean, because some people do get sad about the fact that that we die at some point and feel like, well, what's the point of doing anything in life if we're just going to die? I might as well just die now and then not have to bother with all this turmoil and stuff. That's life. That's what life is like. And I've found in my life that the most rewarding times that I've learnt the most about myself have been the lowest points. Seriously. It's when things go wrong and you start to question everything and think about yourself and stuff that you start to come up with the answers and understand things a little bit clearer. Trying your damnedest to stay positive. If something knocks you back, you're just like, fuck it, you add it onto your fuel to just get on with it and get it done. Don't be knocked back to the point like, no, well, it hasn't worked the first time, so I'm not going to try anymore. Or it hasn't worked the second time, so now I'm giving up. No, you just keep going at it. If there's something you want bad enough and you keep going after it, just relentlessly, odds are you're going to get what you want faster than if you didn't try. It seems like a lot of young guys get quite depressed about the fact that they feel, you know, they can't get a girlfriend or their girlfriend's left them, or they just don't seem to be meeting the right person and stuff like that. That again is life. You just have to go with it and see what happens. If a relationship isn't making you happy, well then end it. I'm not here to try and break up relationships. You know, sometimes there are difficult times and you have to work past them. But when you know deep down you're not going to be happy with this person, it probably isn't the best thing for you. And sometimes you have to give up something that you think is the most important thing in your life, because you can get into this mind and say, well, I'm sure, you know, if this ends and there's never going to be anything else, and this person's so right for me, and yet they're so wrong for you, but you don't realise it because you're thinking about it in the wrong way. And if you're one of those people who's like, I'm never going to meet anyone, no one's ever going to like me, trust me, there is someone out there for everyone. You've just got to meet them, and it's when you stop looking that they tend to turn up. You know, don't try and get a girl by saying, oh, I'm so lonely, no one likes me, and try and do the sympathy vote. Just, you know, be yourself, and you've got a much better chance of meeting a decent person. And as I've always said, I am one of the luckiest, I consider myself one of the luckiest guys in the world, because I met Mrs. Spice and she's amazing. You know, in the 2 years we've been together, we haven't had a single argument. And I mean that, we haven't had a single argument, because we work together. You know, things are discussed, and whatever the most logical and correct outcome of a situation is, that's the one we tend to go with. Everyone out of their cars with smartphones, go take a picture of the sunset. I need to take a picture of this sunset. Rather than just enjoying it with my own eyes, I'm going to look at it through a screen and just have a picture on my phone, which I'm just going to post to Facebook, and everyone's going, yes, I saw that too. Off subject. And we do things fairly between each other, and I think that is the key to having a harmonious and happy relationship. It's give and take, and I think everyone knows that to a point. But sometimes people don't realise what is the right and wrong thing to do, or the most logical thing, because they have ego. Now, I'm not saying I don't have an ego. Everyone has an ego to a point. In fact, the human itself has 3 layers. You have the core, which is your subconscious. You have the next layer, which is who you are in your head. And you know that that person in your head isn't exactly the same as the person on the outside. You modify slightly. People might say, no, I'm exactly the same all the way through. No, you're not. There is always a filter between what your brain is saying and what your mouth is saying, or meaning, or feeling. Oh, this is a nice road. Should we go and look at a massive gun? Why not? Authorised vehicles only. Oh, well, this is authorised by me. I didn't say who else authorised it. Now, when I said massive gun, I meant massive gun, and this isn't even all of it, really. Well, I suppose it is the firing mechanism, but it's not on its mount. And it's pointing at the Isle of Wight. If only this thing would fire, though. You know, I'm furious. I could get him. If only. So you don't need everything in the world to be going right for you to be happy, and you're unhappy if anything goes wrong. I mean, fuck. See, the reason I'm talking about it is because I've learned I've got a lot better than I used to be. I used to let little things really affect me. I'd have lots of things going right, but I'd have one little thing going wrong, and it would affect everything. And it was a really bad way of thinking about things. And it's once you realise that happiness is contentment. It's not, you know, everything going right and nothing going wrong. It's just being content with what's going on. And yeah, there can be problems, but because you know what those problems are, and you're thinking you're working on them, or you know what you're going to do to try and help solve that problem, it stops becoming such a big problem. They're pointing. They're pointing. Hello! See, once you start implementing these things into your head and you do them every day, soon it becomes second nature, and with that you'll find some happiness and some contentment. And in time, it took me a long time to get to the point that I'm at now. As I say, I'm going through a lot of shitty shit at the moment, and I'm not moaning about it. I'm not even going to really go into it. Now, in the past, I know right now I would be fucking miserable about shit. Now, I've had a few low days. I've not felt great about stuff, but it's only for a day. Or half a day, I can snap myself out of it and get myself back into my positive way of thinking. Music, that's a really important one. At the time that you're feeling very depressed, and I do find this is, you know, the cliche maybe, but you get your teens into their rock, depressed, oh god, that's why people think that everyone wants to kill themselves who listens to rock music, as my my landlady does. She says, oh, this rock music you play in the kitchen, you know, it's all about killing yourself and the devil. No, it's not. And when you're feeling angry and upset, I sometimes listen to metal. It helps you get it out of your system. But you need to not continue that. And I started listening to some much more positive types of music. I discovered Wax, who I've talked about before, Big Wax. You'll find him on YouTube. He has some of the most positive music, which feels real because it feels like it's talking about stuff that you're going through. And I know that's a cliche thing, you know, I feel like this song is about me. Well, it's not. It's just lots of people who are in the same situation as you. That's the thing. The other thing you have to remember, it's the same for everyone, but it's their aim at life and how they regard things and how they show it as well, that tells you how happy they really are or aren't. Some people, and I did this for a long time, were brilliant at having the outer layer, you know, being happy, cheery, and everything's great. Scratch under the surface and it's a dark world. I think I've probably talked about this enough. I'm sure there's many things that I would like to have mentioned that I haven't remembered or I can't fit in this video because I want to keep it relatively short. But I think those few key things of what I've learned in my life to be happier about stuff when shit goes wrong. And I've had a lot of stuff go wrong. Not a lot of stuff go right, but I stay positive and you know, it's working for me now. There's a lot of people watching this thinking, yeah, but that's not going to work for me, that's not the way it is, mine's much, no, I'm sorry, but as they say, you are not a unique, delicate as a snowflake. You're the same bag of bones and guts and everything as everyone else. We all go through the same sorts of things. Some people are luckier in life, and they have more money maybe, but it doesn't always bring happiness. Although people say, oh yeah, but it brings things that make you happy. Well, that's true, doing things that make you happy. Riding has been one of my, you know, steadfast, keep me happy. If I'm in a really bad mood, go for a ride, it puts a smile on my face. And let's face it, things could be worse. You could be an egg. You get smashed once, laid once, and the only bird that wants to sit on your face is your mum. Fucking hell. Okay, actually, I was fucking police just scared the shit out of me. But I think there's more concussions.